How are you both doing today?
Doing good. We love that Iron Man in the back and all
Yeah.
the other. We got some.
I see
what's-
Jack Skeleton back
Jack
there, too.
Skeleton. We see some. There's some X-Men back there. What's back there?
There's a whole bunch of stuff. It's to distract you from this, but and it works every time. All kidding aside, I really want to say congrats on the movie. I am very happy it was made. I really appreciate when people point out the hypocrisy of certain religious leaders, and I'm just going to say thank you.
Thank you.
I am curious though, do you think when you were growing up, if your parents had allowed you to read Harry Potter and go trick-or-treating and do things, I was reading the press notes, do you think this movie would have been made?
So our parents
they
did
did.
allow us to do that, but it's part of why I think this dichotomy exists within us, because our parents, although we did go to church every Sunday, they did encourage critical thinking in us, and they did encourage us to ask questions. And they also love Halloween and Harry Potter, so they weren't going to deprive us of that.
Yeah.
But I think despite that, the messaging that we were getting from the church in and of itself and other people within the community was that these things are bad, that these things are evil and we shouldn't be doing it. So this was going to happen either way, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you now the most important question of the entire day, I think. What was it like for the two of you doing the Harry Potter tour in London?
It was perfect. I mean,
It was a lot of what we just did, just like, oh.
yeah, it was a lot of shock and awe. I think we're big fangirls, Harry Potter fangirls, and so that, and I think having, being filmmakers now and having made film, seeing how all those things truly came together in a filmmaking way was just like, it was the ultimate for us.
It was amazing. And our parents were there.
And our parents were there with us.
I hate asking a generic thing, but what was it about this material that said we have to tell this story?
I mean, I think it's because it was like, for lack of a better term, plaguing us at a particular time in our lives where we were, struggling with not jiving with a lot of what organized religion seemed to be about and what it had to offer, but then also still very much feeling a connection to Southern Baptist culture and our own personal spirituality, and trying to figure out why it is that why it felt like there was such a split. And so I think that was like really what the core of it was that we were from this culture, and there was a lot that we loved about it, but there was a lot that we had critique about.
Yeah.
You guys ended up filming on the side of a road for part of the movie, and it felt obviously like you can't lock down an entire road. So there are people, driving by that are, oblivious to maybe that you're filming a movie. What was it actually like having them on the side of the road and the praise miming and everything that went on there?
It was, I mean, we locked down the sidewalk, I think, or at least some of the sidewalk, but definitely not and the sidewalk is right by the road. So people would stop, and I think a lot of people were like, wait, what are they doing? I think the Black Jesus statue also got a lot of attention. They were like, what is this? But I think when people recognized that it was Regina and Sterling on the side of the road, people legitimately stopped their cars.
Yeah.
And would talk to us in the middle of take. We were like, we have to work. But they were very much, intrigued by what was going on.
Their performances, obviously, they're everything for the movie. If you don't buy into what they're selling, forget it. But they're both incredible in the movie. Can you sort of talk about how you worked with them to get them ready to step on set? What did you want them to know? And, the way to portray their characters?
Yeah. I mean, as far as knowing what to portray and specificity about this culture and these characters, they already knew. They were both raised very similarly to how we were raised. Definitely raised in the church, and Regina's from Georgia and Sterling is from St. Louis, and so there was a lot of shorthand there already.
Yeah.
But as far as developing their actual characters, a lot of it was like talking about the stuff that isn't on screen, like talking about backstory, talking about why don't Trinitie and Lee Curtis have kids, talking about how they met, like when did Regina's dad actually pass away? Like it's like all of these things that aren't necessarily informing the story that's on screen, but it informs their characters.
I'm fascinated by the editing process because that's where it all comes together.
Yeah.
Can you sort of talk about what it was like in the editing room, trying to find the right tone that you were looking for, and just maybe how talk a little bit about the challenge?
I mean, I think we took our time finding the right editor. I think, like you said, everything either comes together or falls apart in the editing room. And so for us, it was very important to find an editor who has worked with a complexity of tones, and we also really wanted someone who has worked in both real documentary and standard cinematic narrative film storytelling. And so that process, I think, because we took our time finding the right editor, we all just meshed really, really well.
Yeah.
And it was honestly pretty seamless. Obviously, there are always tough points that keep us up late at night, but it was pretty.
Oh.
What's going on in here? What's going on in here?
Somebody's here.
Hi, beauties.
Regina, you know we on camera? That's exactly what set was like. It was every day. It was amazing.
Right, I can't imagine having trying to bring this to life and landing those two as your leads and everything, and then Jordan Peele's company wanting to come on. You know what I mean? It's like you guys won the lottery.
It truly feels that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've lived with this story and these characters for so long, and it's one thing to see it come to life, but it's also another thing to see it come to life idealistically. We couldn't have asked for a more perfect cast.
Yeah, I think it's one thing to see it come to life, and there's another thing to see it have a life. And that's something I think that for sure Focus and Monkey Paw have been instrumental in shepherding.
Yeah.
Is like making sure that people know about this.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be my last question, but I read that it was your actual grandmother's hats that you used in the film. Is that true? And can you sort of talk about her hat collection?
It's very true.
Yeah.
A lot of the hats in the film, like in the closet and in the hat store, are our grandmother's hats. Mm-hmm. And she was a church-going, God-fearing woman, and
Hat lady.
She loved her hats. She had boxes. I think we went through probably 25 boxes filled with different hats. It was she passed away in 2011, but it was important for us to have a piece of her in the film. And so that was, I think, the best way we knew how to do it.
Yeah.
I have to stop there. I'm just going to say congrats on the movie. I hope you guys are making something else again soon.
Thank you so much. We are doing that.
I like that. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.